Happy New Year, Facebook friends. I can't believe it's 2018. I apologize for not being here on New Year's Day, but we'll get to that. I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful holiday. We had an interesting time here at my house, which I'm going to talk a little bit about. I just want to reintroduce myself. Again, I'm Kathleen with Link Golf and Wellness, golf professional, personal trainer, and yoga instructor. And I decided to start this Mindful Monday series because it's the work I'm doing right now, and it's so exciting. And I'm just so happy to be able to share it with people. And I hope that everybody is excited about this path as well. So hello, Bretta and Sue, who have joined me. Thanks for coming. Always put your input in the little comment mark. I would love that. So a little bit about the holidays and a little bit about what my experience was. The first thing, I broke my hand. Oops, there you go. Broke my hand. That put a little bit of a wrench in the holidays, and my daughter got the flu, all which happened on the same day. And it kind of spilled over into the entire kind of holiday season. So let's just talk a little bit about mindfulness, and the theme for today is the mindful malaise. So the definition of mindfulness, and I'm going to read it again because I want to read it word for word, and hopefully I'll have it memorized here at some point. So mindfulness means maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and surrounding environment. And I always think, well, that seems, pretty easy, no-brainer. Here's the good part, I think the kind of the juicy part. Also, it involves acceptance, meaning that we pay attention to our thoughts and feelings without judging them. I think that's a big one. Without believing for an instant that there is a right or wrong way to think or feel. I know that's a tough one for me in any given moment. When we practice mindfulness, our thoughts tune into what we're sensing in the present moment rather than rehashing the past or imagining the future. So as I went down this path of breaking my hand and my daughter being sick, and then the New Year's kind of rolled in, it kind of hit me. I was kind of feeling like, was I depressed? Was I tired? Was I in recovery from my cold or my hand? I mean, all sorts of stuff kind of went down. And so I really started kind of digging a little bit and decided that, I was kind of in what I would call a malaise. I don't consider myself kind of a depressive person. I'm more of an anxious person. And the definition of malaise is kind of this uneasy, uncomfortable feeling, but you just can't kind of put your finger on it per se. And this went on for 2 or 3 days, and it even kind of spilled in over into New Year's Day, and I just didn't want to do my Mindful Monday, and so I skipped it. But I wanted to do it, but just couldn't kind of put my finger on what was going on. Well, then after talking to some friends, dear friends of mine, like my good friend Bretta and Crystal and things of that nature, I started to kind of really realize that the letdown of the holidays hit me. The fact that I don't have full use of my hand for about 4 to 6 weeks. And I just started feeling like, what's wrong with me? And that's the key, is what's wrong with me? And there was nothing wrong with me at all. And I think we go into these places of what's wrong with me, and we start questioning and we start judging, and all this kind of stuff. So I started thinking to myself in this mindful manner, you know what, I'm kind of in this malaise. And I think the first and most important thing of this process for me from a mindfulness perspective is, I had to identify it. And the only way I was going to identify it is I needed to just be in it. And I truly was in it for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days. But I kept kind of pushing it away. Like, no, I'm going to be fine. It's all good. Everything's great. My hand's going to be fine. The holidays are over. It's 2018. I'm all excited about the New Year's. And then I kind of stressed a little bit about that, but kind of went back to this place of, it's okay to not be joyful. It's okay to not be motivated. It's okay to be maybe tired and lethargic and non-social. And so first and foremost, I identified it and really was like, okay, I'm just going to be in this. And I think we're so afraid, in a sense, to kind of be in that space of uncomfortable or uneasy or not happy. But the reality is we can't have this joy and this happiness without this other part of our life, which I would consider kind of, maybe a dark space, which is completely normal. It's one of these expressions I use a lot when it comes to teaching yoga, is we can't have the light without the dark, and we can't have the dark without the light. And so the kind of the third part of this is, A, identify it, B, be in it. And then 3 was just be compassionate. And so I really started being more compassionate towards myself, because compassion is so easy to be compassionate towards others. But from a mindful perspective, I think it's really challenging to be compassionate and have compassion for ourselves. And so I kind of went to this place of having more compassion for myself, and slowly and surely started kind of climbing out of my little dark space. But then it really almost raised the bar a little bit for me to be even more compassionate towards others. And the example I use, and it's kind of funny, because I'm not always really great when my husband gets sick, because I think men have a little bit of a challenge being sick. But I really, really caught myself, and this was a really great learning experience for me, is being really, really much more compassionate towards Tony when he started feeling bad. And I kind of chuckle a little bit, because it's this truth that, wow, like just being compassionate and mindful for myself really helps me be compassionate towards others. And because of this work that I did, this kind of mindfulness, living and really identifying this and being in the malaise and truly having compassion for myself, really raised the bar to have compassion for others. And I do consider myself a compassionate person, but I think a really big challenge for me is that I don't always start with myself. Not from a selfish perspective, but from a mindful perspective is, as we move into the new year, I do believe that we start to kind of raise the bar, that we have to set all these goals and resolutions and intentions and all that kind of stuff. And I think the lesson that I learned that I really want to share with you guys is that, A, things don't always go as planned, hence the broken hand and the flu, my daughter, and all these other things. But B, that it's okay to not like it, and it's okay to be kind of sad and disappointed and whatever else, you want to call it. Maybe it is depressed. People, suffer from depression all the time. But yes, Bretta, amen. It's hard to be compassionate with ourselves. And so this week, your mindful homework is, first and foremost, be compassionate with yourself every day. Kind of just check in, see how you're feeling. And maybe on those days that you're feeling like you're struggling, or you're feeling kind of down and blue, I want the very first thing for you to do is give yourself some compassion, give yourself some love, and give yourself a break. And so, again, for Mindful Monday, mindful living is kind of the mindful malaise. Number 1, identify it. Number 2, please be in it. Just be in that space. Know that we can't have lightness without dark and darkness without light. And then 3, have a little compassion for yourself. So I think that's a great way to start the new year. I'm starting my mindful movement meditation 6-week reboot camp next week, and I'm super excited to share some of that information with you guys. So I hope you have a beautiful Monday. Thank you, Sue and Bretta, for joining. Please pass this along to your friends every Monday around 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Love any feedback, any ideas, anything that you guys want to hear about. Please put it on my Facebook page, either at Kathleen Heine Pels or Link Off and Wellness. Okay, Happy New Year, and thanks for joining, and have a beautiful week. Take care.